Hello there, welcome to Conflict News 2042 complete situation report for you from the Middle East, where since yesterday we have been seeing fighting between Palestinian armed groups and Israeli defense forces. What is the latest? What is happening now these minutes in Gaza? Is Israel going to launch a ground offensive on Gaza? Where is fighting ongoing now? What are the weapons, types of weapons being used by Hamas fighters? Which types of drones are being used by Hamas fighters? How is US responding? How many killed on two sides? Details for you, some videos to showing how Hamas fighters managed to enter a controversial territory yesterday. I mean, Israel has one of the best intelligence agencies in the world. How is that still Hamas fighters managed to enter areas to the east and north of Gaza? Details for you in this video. An important announcement by Hamas about 6 p.m. Asking West Bank and Hezbollah to join in mass activity at 6 p.m. local time. Let's start from yesterday. It was Saturday morning when hundreds of Hamas fighters entered territories which are under Israeli control. Hamas says these are Palestinian territories illegally occupied by Israeli forces. First question, how did Hamas fighters manage to enter the territories under Israeli control? They carried out attack on Ares and Raim military bases, which are to the east, almost east of Gaza Strip, Israeli military bases. Now, we have now received videos, pictures which show that the operation launched by Hamas was a multi-front operation. Hamas used kamikaze drones called Zouari. These kamikaze drones were used to conduct strikes on targets in Israel, and rockets and missiles were fired at the same time from Gaza. So under the cover of rockets and missiles, Hamas fighters entered Israel by air and on foot. By air, I mean they used hang gliders, and on foot they launched ground offensive. And third way adopted by them was through the sea. Through use of boats, they tried to reach Zikam beach, which is to the north of Gaza, and Ashkelon, Israeli city, to the north of Gaza. So it was a naval, ground, air operation, well coordinated air, naval and ground operation. By air, I mean just hang gliders. Hamas don't have any helicopters. They have no fighter jets. They only have hang gliders which they use to enter Israeli territory. So under the cover of kamikaze drone strikes, under the cover of missile strikes and rocket strikes, Hamas fighters managed to enter the settlements which have been under Israeli control, and there then Hamas killed people there. Soldiers were killed, civilians were killed, hundreds were killed there. I'll share numbers with you of casualties on both sides after a short while. So Hamas entered the territories, and Israeli military was not prepared. It was not expecting such a big offensive. It was a failure of Israeli military intelligence, Israeli military capabilities. Two military bases, Raim and Ares, were taken over by Hamas fighters. They killed Israeli soldiers there, but then they retreated. So both bases are back under Israel control. But settlements, civilian settlements, are the places where still there is fighting ongoing. Since yesterday, Israel trying to clear these settlements from Hamas fighters, but still fighting ongoing in some areas. And Abu Ubaidah, who is head of Hamas Qasim Brigade, his spokesperson of Hamas Qasim Brigade, he said just a few hours ago that more fighters have been sent to the settlements from Gaza. Fighters have been replaced. So he confirmed that still there is presence of Hamas fighters in the settlements. Meanwhile, while fighting was ongoing in these settlements, Israeli military was trying to push Hamas fighters, push or kill them, and Hamas were trying to go deep as they could. Israeli Air Force started airstrikes on Gaza. And since yesterday, we have been seeing airstrikes on Gaza. Dozens of airstrikes. Question is, what is the target? Everything is target, I think. We have confirmed so far, Israel has confirmed itself that it has attacked two mosques too, Muslim worship places. Israeli defense forces say the mosques were being used as hideouts by Hamas fighters. Islamic Bank was bombarded too by Israeli Air Force in Gaza. Why? Because allegedly it financed Hamas activities. Schools closed. Houses of Hamas commanders, other Palestinian groups commanders were bombed too. Multi-story, several buildings bombed as well. Israel says these are facilities which were being used by Hamas fighters for their operations, for their trainings. So anything can be hit in Gaza because Israel claims that these facilities are being used by Hamas fighters for their military activities. Schools closed in Hamas. Electricity cut off. By the way, transmission system of power which is used in Gaza is based in Israel, and that transmission system has been cut off. It means there is no electricity in Gaza. It strikes on each and every important building in Gaza. People suffering, whether they support Hamas or not, they are suffering. Just like in settlements where Israelis were massacred by Hamas fighters. And some were not armed, they were civilians. Near Gaza border, a music festival, a concert was in progress, which was attacked by Hamas fighters reportedly, and dozens of people were killed there. I told you yesterday that dead body of an Israeli girl, semi-naked, was paraded by Hamas fighters. Now it has been confirmed that the lady is a girl from Germany. She was attending that music concert on Gaza border, which was stormed by Hamas fighters. She was killed, and later her semi-naked body was paraded by Hamas fighters. Israeli soldiers are obviously hitting back too. They have captured Hamas fighters from these settlements. They have stripped them naked, tortured them, and their naked pictures have been made public. So no humanity, no rules, no laws regarding respect for prisoners of war in this brutal war. Now, what happened after that? What is happening now? How many casualties on the two sides? Well, the official numbers shared by the two sides so far is that Israel has confirmed 659 deaths so far, and a large number of the people, the killed people include both soldiers and civilians, women too, elderly too, soldiers as well. 659 killed on Israeli side, 2,156 injured on Israeli side. Now on Palestinian side, around 370 killed so far, mainly in Gaza and obviously some in settlements too, where Israeli forces are conducting operation trying to capture infiltrators from Gaza. 370 killed in Gaza, more than 2,200 injured in Gaza. Two colonels of Israeli military confirmed that they lost their lives in this operation. Israel has confirmed the death of Jonathan Steinberg, who was Nahal Brigade commander. He was killed yesterday by Hamas fighters. Secondly, Colonel Roy Levi, another colonel, he was at Raim military base of Israeli military, which was stormed by Hamas fighters yesterday. He was shot dead. Two colonels killed in this attack. Now, what is happening now? How is international community responding? What is Hamas's new plan? Any ground invasion of Gaza likely or not? I did a video a few hours ago about Lebanon-Israel border. Hezbollah, based in Lebanon, confirmed attacks on 3 sites in a disputed territory between Lebanon and Israel. 3 sites were attacked by Hezbollah fighters this morning, and after that we saw that Israeli military launched airstrikes, drone strikes on Hezbollah targets in Lebanon on border. No large-scale fighting between Hezbollah and Israel so far, but tension there. And secondly, I told you about the number of casualties injured and suicide. What about detainees? What about those who were taken prisoner by Hamas fighters when they entered settlements yesterday? We don't know the exact number, maybe hundreds. And these hundreds are in Gaza. Gaza is being bombarded by Israeli Air Force. Abu Ubaidah Qasim Brigade head of Hamas spoke. He said, these prisoners are all over Gaza. So what happens to us will happen to these people too. So he is threatening Israeli Air Force that you're bombarding Gaza, your people are there too, as POWs. They could be killed too. But bombardment ongoing on Gaza. How is international community responding? Hamas chief Ismail Hania talked to Iranian president today, Ibrahim Raisi. Ibrahim Raisi commended Hamas's efforts. Obviously, Iran is on board with Hamas. Through a statement, Hamas thanked Kuwait. Kuwait took a strong stand in support of Palestine. Yesterday, its assembly has passed a resolution as well. Hamas thanked Kuwait for its stance. US is warning. US is warning that neighboring countries, other countries must not involve them in this conflict. Israel is not alone. US is standing with Israel. So a threat from US to Arab countries. And by the way, those who have been taken hostage by Hamas fighters include some Americans too. It is being claimed by Israeli diplomats that some Americans were kidnapped too by Hamas fighters, and now these Americans are in Gaza, and Gaza is bombarded. Could it provide US with a justification to intervene militarily, that it wants to rescue its people? Let's see. Meanwhile, we're seeing evacuation flights. Polish government sent flights to evacuate its citizens from Israel today. We're seeing the repercussions of this conflict in neighboring countries too. In Egypt today, 2 Israeli tourists were shot dead. In Egypt today, in Alexandria, there is a tourist site where a police official shot dead 2 Israelis. The incident seems to be linked to the conflict in Gaza. Egypt shares border with Gaza, but Egypt is taking a neutral stance so far. International community calling for calm. Now, what is the latest? It is that Hamas issued a statement a short while ago asking groups in West Bank and Hezbollah to join in confronting Israeli forces at 6 p.m. local time. Right now it is around 7:30 local time when we got this video. It means Hamas wants Palestinian groups based in West Bank and Hezbollah to join Hamas in the fight against Israeli military. So far, we have not seen any attacks on Israeli forces from West Bank under Palestinian government of Mahmoud Abbas. Mahmoud government, I think, at a distance, not becoming part of the conflict so far. Hassan Nasrallah of Hezbollah sending a message that he could be involved, but no large-scale attack on Israel from Lebanon. Israel has deployed Patriot air defense system, American air defense system on its border with Lebanon. The air defense system is capable of intercepting missiles, rockets, etc. Meanwhile, movement of tanks has been seen towards the Gaza border. I have a video as well, 2 clips for you at the end of this video. Israel is mobilizing its forces, ground forces, its mechanized units, its armored artillery towards the Gaza border. Israel is not at this point of time able to enter Gaza because there is fighting between Gaza and Israeli territories. So there are settlements there, and on Gaza border there is fighting ongoing because Hamas fighters still they are in Israeli controlled settlements. So if the settlements are cleared, then we could see ground invasion of Gaza by Israeli military. For that, preparation is underway. Tanks have been seen on the move towards the Gaza border. If Gaza is invaded, ground invasion, I'm not talking about airstrikes. Airstrikes ongoing since yesterday. Gunship helicopters reportedly being used too, but no ground invasion. If ground invasion of Gaza happens, what will Iran do? What will Syria do? What will Hezbollah of Lebanon do? That remains to be seen. Maybe Hezbollah sent a message through the attack on 3 sites today that Israel must not think of entering Gaza. We could see expansion of this conflict if Israel decided to enter Gaza. Meanwhile, Israeli government has ratified a state of war proclamation under the Article 47A of Israeli Constitution. So Israel believes it is at war. It has every right to adopt measures in a wartime situation. Hamas says it is ready. It will fight back. Hamas today issued a statement calling upon all Arab countries, Muslim countries to support Hamas. Hamas said this is not Hamas's war. This is a war of all Muslims, all Arabs. All should join hands to support Hamas. Let's see how the conflict is resolved. Meanwhile, we are seeing right now fighting in settlements and fighting near Ashkelon too and Zikkim beach. Both Zikkim and Ashkelon are to the north of Gaza, and Hamas fighters using boats, they're trying to infiltrate these areas. Fighting in settlements, fighting in Zikkim, Ashkelon, airstrikes ongoing on Gaza, Hamas kamikaze drone strikes ongoing on Israeli forces, Hamas drone strikes, Hamas rocket firing also ongoing on Israeli territories. This is the overall situation from the Middle East. 2 videos for you. First video shows the kamikaze drones which are being used by Hamas fighters, Zouari drones. These drones just crash into the target, they explode, they destroy everything. Second video shows the movement of Hamas fighters when they entered Israeli controlled areas yesterday. How did they enter? You can see rockets are being fired. Under the rockets, gliders can be seen entering the territory controlled by Israeli forces. Lastly, another video for you showing the mobilization of Israeli armored tanks towards the Gaza border. Dozens of tanks have been seen on the move towards Gaza. Preparation for a ground offensive on Gaza, obviously being seen on the ground. With the 3 clips, I thank you for watching. Please do subscribe if you want to stay updated about the conflict in the Middle East. Thank you for watching.
You see the lines?
Yeah.
Right. I need to pass them and then we'll stop and do it.